The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.
And welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. Yeah, have you been in for the stretching? I had a reel I put together just the other day, and it was Jim on the table, not Monica, Jim. That's right. Look at this. He drastically felt a difference. In fact, he said, and I quote, I am now a believer. So Trisha was stretching Jim while I was stretched by Tim, and I really have been wanting to get a feel for the different therapists that they have there. So Claire
and so it's not hurting, it's releasing for you.
So when I came in here and said, I really don't have issues.
One's in Hampton, one in the Arnold area. But yeah, Jim originally didn't know what to expect. And ever since he's gone, he's like, so should I come a couple times a month? Should it be something where I come once a week? She said, Monica ideally should come once a week. And then Jim, she's like, yeah, probably a couple times. So Jim went in, and he's been involved in sports his whole life. Obviously a police officer, wearing the vest, wearing the belts. He's like, I knew my hips were probably shot. And he's like, not too bad. And then having a tear in his rotator, there were many things that originally he was thinking, is this going to hurt? He said, didn't hurt at all. In fact, it felt amazing. So Jim, I'm so glad you finally got in there. And Trisha, thank you for taking care of him. Again, existstretch.com, or check him out on social media at existstretch. And welcome in. Thank you, Exist, for being one of our many sponsors. We want to thank each and every one of them. And you can be a part of this growing community, by the way. Just shoot me a message at info@therealmonicaadams.com. We have one of our amazing sponsors coming in today, Abraham Whitehead, and we get a chance to meet his dad, Alwyn, or Al. Today is a Testament Tuesday, and I cannot wait to introduce you to his series of books that he's come out with. I know you all love books, and you love to read new ones. I'm a big fan of reading at least 10 pages a day of something that serves you, and these books definitely will. We'll talk about that coming up for you in just a bit. Welcome aboard, by the way. Let me know what you're doing this morning. Are you enjoying this humidity and heat? My answer is no. Get in the pool. If you know someone that has one, you're going to want to be in it for probably the next several days. Let's get into weather first, then we'll get into some news you can use. And of course, the weather will be one of our top stories. So you can see the red. These next few days, dangerous temperatures. We're talking about heat indices up near 110 today. 30% chance of maybe some morning rain. Otherwise, 92 for the actual temperature. Heat index, look at this, folks, 107. Tomorrow, the heat index, 104 with a temperature of 94 and maybe a slight chance of a pop-up storm in the afternoon. Thursday, heat index again of 105, some afternoon storms. And these are those pop-up hot storms that we see, 95. Then we finally break it. And as we go into the weekend, 86, so a 10-degree drop from Thursday. And we're not talking about dangerous conditions as we go into the weekend. 88 on Saturday, Sunday, a 40% chance of rain and a high of 85. Good thing we don't have the cards in action or the Muni starting yet. Hairspray starts next week, by the way, next Tuesday. So it's going to be a nice one, actually. 80 and 81 on Tuesday, 83 on Wednesday, 86 on Thursday. That is more my speed. Not ready for the 90s just yet. I don't know about you. Some of you that love summer, maybe you're happy that it's starting already, but the official start of summer hasn't even begun yet, and we're already seeing these heat indices, again, up near 110. So be careful. Take care of yourself, the elderly, your pets. And again, our area authorities are warning about the problems with the heat. And again, the importance, what we always tell you, what is she doing right there? Hydrating. That is so extremely important. Local organizations sharing what you should know ahead of the heat to ensure you stay protected. Lightheadedness is a symptom to look for when we talk about heat-related illnesses. Severe sweating, weakness or dizziness, nausea or vomiting. You have a rapid heart rate or rapid breathing, cold, pale, or even clammy skin, confusion, and even fainting. So check on your neighbors, check on your friends, check on those with disabilities, the elderly, the young children that might be most at risk. And again, the other aspect is the pets. Please keep your animals indoors, even if you don't have air conditioning, keeping them in a cooler space, maybe in a basement as well. If you're going to walk them, make sure you get those potty breaks really short. Want to keep those those feet off the pavement. Keep them as you can. Again, hydrated. So again, if you experience any heat-related symptoms, call 911 immediately. All right, this next picture is just gross, and I hate to show it to you during breakfast time, but I wanted to tell you this is one of those news you can use. Flesh-eating parasite has been confirmed in the United States after decades. A parasite not seen has not been seen in the U.S. at least in decades, has been confirmed twice in Texas, but officials say they've been preparing for this scenario for well over a year now. The New World screwworm is a parasitic fly whose larvae feeds on the living flesh of warm-blooded animals, including livestock, pets, and in rare cases, people. Any open wound is a potential target. Officials say they've been watching the pest move north through Mexico since November of 24. The USDA closed the border to all livestock imports from Mexico in June of 25. On Friday, the USDA confirmed the second case of the screwworm 2 days after the first. Both cases found in beef calves in South Texas, just miles apart. But officials say they are prepared. And again, they've been expecting this for the last couple of years. Yeah, we showed you that just a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry to show it to you again. We're going to stay with the animal theme. St. Louis Zoo, unfortunately, they are mourning the death of their second oldest orangutan in North America. They posted on social media that the 57-year-old was humanely euthanized on Wednesday, June 3rd. And you can see we are saddened deeply to share the passing of Mira, our beloved 57-year-old Sumatran orangutan. After a careful assessment of her health and quality of life, the decision was made to humanely euthanize her Wednesday morning, June 3rd. At the time of the passing, she was the second oldest in North America and was receiving specialized care for multiple advanced health conditions related to her age. Pretty sad, but she lived a good life, right? Have you been to the zoo in a while, by the way? I wouldn't think it would be the best days here in the next few days to go with how hot it is, but if you are, please, again, any outside activity, we keep talking about taking care of yourself. Well, yesterday we had Dr. Fox and Kira Anderson on, and we were talking about pancreatic cancer. Today, colorectal cancer, and this is how this new device has helped save a patient with stage 4 rectal cancer. A pump delivering chemotherapy directly to the liver tumors has spared patients from full body side effects. So instead of that full body chemotherapy, this cancer journey for one woman in stage 4, she said, losing her hair felt like a loss of identity, and she wondered if there was a better option. So what she ended up doing was Googling, as a lot of people do, to see what else is out there, and she found this hepatic artery infusion pump. And again, it administers chemotherapy to the liver instead of the whole body. And so she said to check with your doctor and ask about this. The device doesn't work for everyone, so patients should talk to their doctor to learn more about it. But again, anything that can help. All right, Apple fans, they have unveiled their new AI features, and here's what you can expect. Siri AI, which was introduced at the start of Apple's annual Worldwide Developers Conference, has been highly anticipated by users and developers. While Siri was launched in 2011, it fell behind other voice assistants and was even derided even by Apple fans. It is the last WWDC featuring CEO Tim Cook before he turns his post over in September. He received an extended standing ovation, told the audience he's deeply grateful to have been on the journey, and the energy around Apple platforms has never been stronger. So they are stepping up their AI game. Apple has sought to distinguish itself from its peers by stressing a privacy-centered approach and integrating AI across its devices and its apps. No mention, though, of AI superintelligence or companion chatbots. Rather, Apple sought to demonstrate how its AI tools can make life easier. So expect more of that if you are, again, an Apple user. Okay, I've been hearing a lot of friends talk about this. The Gateway Grizzlies giving you an opportunity to be in a movie, but you have to be at the game this evening. This is the Be in a Movie Night. The gates will open at 5:30, first pitch at 6:30. You can appear as a movie extra before, during, after the game. They have food and drink specials, behind-the-scenes movie experience. So they're saying to wear your Grizzlies merchandise for a better chance to appear in the film. If you don't have any, you can go online and grab some. You can grab their exclusive Be in a Movie ticket package, by the way, where you receive a field box ticket plus a Grizzlies shirt. And I know for some of you, you're like, I don't know, it's kind of hot. I don't know if I want to go to a game. But if you want to be in a movie, I am dropping a comment in for you right now where you can go to this website and find out more information about how you can be in a movie. First pitch, again, 6:30, your chance tonight at the Gateway Grizzlies game. So good luck to you. All right, SLU and Mizzou, they're facing off in basketball for the first time in 25 years. This November, SLU and Mizzou facing off, the two schools announcing a 3-game series set to begin on November 6th at the Enterprise Center. The Billikens and Tigers, the last time they battled on the hard court, 2001. So this should be a good one. All right, we've got some Cardinals news for you. Cardinals have optioned Victor Scott II to AAA and recalled Nathan Church. The center fielder did not travel to New York as the team made those roster adjustments. Scott, who has been struggling offensively, did not join the Cards in New York. Church is returning from his rehab assignment. The series against the Mets, by the way, begins tonight. First pitch in New York is at 6:10. All right, let's give you some National Day calendar. National Donald Duck Day, National Earl Day, Strawberry Rhubarb Pie Day, National Call Your Doctor Day. It's National Forklift Safety Day. And we've got our ongoing national weeks as well. It is National Little League Week, and that kicked off for you yesterday. And now you are all up to date in things that I think are news that you can use. Let's see who's on this morning. Let's say good morning to all of you. Thank you for being up and at 'em. Linda, Sean, Julie, it's amazing getting stretched. Have you been, Julie? Oh my goodness, who did you go and see? Good morning to you. Ginny, good morning. Linda said outside by 6 this morning. It was humid. I put the dogs out, got my flowers all watered. Look at her getting my walk in now. My favorite way to spend my mornings listening to the show. And yeah, that's the great thing, that you can treat it as a podcast if you want to instead of the talk show. You can put those earbuds in and go for a walk. And I would get that done early. Again, it's already hot and humid out there. So take care of yourself over these next few very hot days. All right, I'm super excited. Let me give you a little background, by the way, on my guest. You have met Abram Whitehead with Fenton Family Dentistry and his beautiful wife, Dr. Jessica, and their daughters. But we're going to introduce you to his father today. We're going to talk about several of his books. And for those of you that have tuned in, we're going to be discussing Testament Tuesday. In fact, I want you to go to BibleByJesus.com. That's the hub for all 6 books on Amazon and the free Scholar's Companion download. So Alwyn Whitehead, he is a licensed psychologist, 40 years of clinical practice, also an ordained minister. I love that combo, by the way. Based in St. Louis, he is a licensed clinical psychologist with 24 years of experience helping individuals navigate life's challenges. He specializes in all types of anxiety, depression, trauma, grief, and adjustment issues. We're going to talk about the gospel voices, the gospels retold through the lens of A Course in Miracles. How did he ever come to want to do this? Well, we'll find out, and we'll talk about how proud his son is of him. So Abe and Al, my guest when we return.
Thankful to Monica for having me on the show here today. I just love having the opportunity to try and help other people. There are a lot of people in my life that were there for me in my time of need, and that was important for me today to talk to Monica about that. You know, you can get low and then work yourself back up to where you want to be, and people around you can help you do that. Surround yourself with the right people. That's what Monica tries to do here with this show. In fact, I know that's what she wants to do, is she wants people that are like-minded to help each other, to point each other in the right direction, to lift each other up, not put each other down. It was amazing for me to sit in here and talk with Monica, and hopefully it helps somebody along the way. I know that every show that she she puts on is fantastic. It's worth your while to be tuning in every single day. Don't worry about some of the negativity around the world, whether it's on TV and this, that, the other. Tune in here to Monica and let her tell her story as well as her guests tell their story. There's always something that you can get from somebody else. And if you pick up just one little thing that helps you, that makes this a success. And that is why I'm here with Monica today.
Welcome back, and thanks again for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. By the way, if you're new to the show, there are multiple platforms we're on for you live, and then you can catch it later. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Rumble, LinkedIn, and Twitch. They're all there on the screen for you. You can also reach out to me on my website, therealmonicaadams.com. And by the way, no matter what platform you're on, I would also suggest that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where the library of shows are. When you want to go back and say, oh, I love this, I want more of that, you can go to YouTube and, again, look for The Real Monica Adams. We have over 800 shows we've done in just over 3 years. It's been a grind, right? And I want to thank everyone that's ever had a part in this show, whether it's you as a viewer, our sponsors like Abe or Coach Abe or Abram Whitehead. We have met him. We've met his beautiful wife, Dr. Jessica from Fenton Family Dentistry. But now we get a chance to meet his dad, Alwyn or Al Whitehead. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure, Monica, my pleasure.
He is just as adorable as you said he would be.
Yes, he is.
Tell me this, because again, for those of you that haven't had a chance to meet Abe, everything about you and your family just glows. And now he walked in this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, so does he. So I see where it comes from. What does your dad mean to you?
Oh, well, I mean, he's an amazing guy. He's been a mentor. He's been, by my side the whole time. I've had lots of ups and downs in life. Sure. And it's always been a wonderful kind of rock that's always been there to say, come on, keep. It's not over yet. Like, you still get chances. Let's get it together. So it's wonderful to have that in your life.
Well, for those of you that don't know about Fenton Family Dentistry, by the way, let's show this beautiful family we've been talking about. These gorgeous girls. They're all dancers, by the way. So he's a dance dad. You haven't done your dance yet, have you? Or have you?
No.
When is it?
Final practice is tomorrow, and then we do it at the recital the following weekend.
Please video that, because next time you come on, I need to see it.
It's going to be good.
I can't wait. Is he a good dancer, Dad?
He is. He's not bad.
Okay. Does he get it from you?
Before.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see that. By the way, if you are looking for an incredible dentist, Dr. Jessica is the one for you. I just met a woman in Wildwood last week, and she's like, oh, I need a dentist. Should I go there? I'm like, yes, you should. So she'll be reaching out to you.
Yay.
And Beckett is coming in, I think, next week.
I can't wait to meet Beckett in person.
I know. So, by the way, Fenton Family Dentistry is a sponsor of our What the Weather segment. So we have Beckett on Mondays and Fridays. I can't wait for these families to meet. They're going to have a blast. Yeah, there you go. Fenton Family Dentistry on Old Smizer Mill Road. Check them out on social media, or again, go to their website. And thank you for being a part of the Real Monica Adams Show. This on a Testament Tuesday. We've seen him on Medical Mondays, Wellness Wednesday. And Abe said, I really would love to be on a Testament Tuesday. What do you think about bringing my dad in? And I was like, I would love to meet everybody in your family, but why? And he told me about these books. So before we get into the books, I want to give background. So I just gave you a little bit, if you just tuned in, from a psychologist standpoint to an ordained minister. Normally I don't hear those two go together. Tell me about that.
Well, I started out, like everybody else, wondering what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And when I was 51, I went back to school and tried. I had been an ordained minister, and I had a church, a small church, that I folded into another church, and then I was supposed to take over for the lead pastor, and he said, well, I've changed my mind, I'm not leaving. And so I thought, I'm not really into politics, so I'm going to look for something else. So psychology was my next move, and so then I stayed in school and finished my doctorate when I was 60.
Come on, wait a minute. Don't just throw that out there. Folks, did you hear that? He said he went back to school at 51, doctorate at 60. Sir, do you know how many people give up on themselves and say, well, I guess this is just what I have to stick with? That was you until you said no. What brought you to that? What do you think? Was it a higher power? We're going to talk about Testament Tuesday today, but what guided you on that journey?
Totally the higher power and expressing himself in circumstances that just presented themselves in my life. It's like you go down a road and you get a fork in the road and you don't know which fork to take, and you take one and that doesn't work out, so you go, oh, I guess I was supposed to take that other one. So it's like you get to trial and error, but I always ask for guidance and talk to my friends and associates about things and try to get as much information as I can, and I try a path and see if it works or not, and it's just keep going, because I know that everything is for the better good. So I'm confident that whatever path I'm going down will turn out fine. So I just push it to the end and see where that fine comes out.
I love this. And again, we're going to be on a journey, sir, don't you agree, that is like this?
It is.
I have a couple books that I've been writing, and one of them was always about, and it was a play on the fact that I used to do traffic and television, so I made sure that you didn't run into objects. But I've always asked people, if there was a huge tire in the road, would you drive right into it? Because if so, something's wrong with you, and you need to go see Al. We normally would go around it, and that's life. How to live a debris-free path is what I've been working on in life. Ooh, it's got chill. So it is, we are in dark places, we're in light places, and we talk about overcoming. You've been working with people for a lot of years now with anxiety, depression, trauma, and showing them that there is a better way, that there is light ahead.
Right.
It's the hardest thing, though, when people are in dark spots, to ever think that it's going to get better, isn't it?
It is. That's the difficulty they have, yes. And so your job is to be a model for them, to see them whole, to see them as they really are, as a loved child of God with infinite resources and possibilities. And we, as psychologists, we use techniques and methods to reframe thinking so that they can start thinking better about themselves and possibilities and gradually come around. And there's some new technique. I've been using this tapping technique for a long time.
I love tapping.
I don't know if you know about tapping?
I do, absolutely.
It's fabulous. And my favorite website is thetappingsolution.com.
Thetappingsolution.com?
Thetappingsolution.com.
Can you explain, because I think, now I do know some of you know about tapping, but for those that don't, can you explain to them what it is?
It's like Chinese acupuncture without pins. You use 2 fingers and tap at various meridians, energy meridians on your face and body, and while you're saying a statement, they call it, which is usually an affirmation, might be, even though I'm scared to death to do a show with Monica, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Please.
Like that. Yeah, that works. Calm me down, get me straightened out, let me turn myself over to the Spirit, get it, yeah.
I love that.
It's tremendously effective for anxiety, depression, trauma, a myriad of things. And research is on that website is why I like it.
Once again, folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Al Whitehead and Abram Whitehead. We're talking about tapping. Drop a comment in, by the way, if you have done it. I know at least one of my clients that does it on a regular basis. So if you watch later, do a little hashtag replay. But yeah, do you think, why is it working? Is it because we are just clearing everything else out and we're so hyper-focused just in that moment of what we're doing along with what we are focusing on?
We're programming our minds when we tap. We're tapping these energy meridians. The Chinese have been doing it for 2,000 years, is well documented, it's very effective. But you can use that same meridians to tap on, which alerts the electronic system. We're just a body of electricity, actually. And so it starts to realign those pathways to get them back to normal. Because at our normal state, there's nothing wrong with us. Like right now, the only pain I'm in is the pain I inflict upon myself. And interiorly, when a person is feeling sad, disconnected, etc., it's something in their mind, the way they're thinking, that's causing them to feel this pain. And so this tapping brings you back to the present. When you're saying a positive statement, let's say, or the statement I just said, I'm scared to death to be on this show because I might mess up, but I deeply and completely respect myself. You're saying that multiple times, that affirmation, and you're tapping yourself. So you're using touch, feel, you're using a lot of senses, and you're concentrating, whether you know it or not, very deeply on that. And so your mind is there where you put it. And so it blocks everything out. So when you're finished, you've cleared that energy field, and you feel more like your true self.
Have you practiced this, by the way? Yes.
Absolutely.
So how has your life changed by doing that?
A lot of things. So I'm a conflict avoidant person, but we own a business. That is not always, that doesn't always fit well together.
Sure.
So I use it for that, but then also even for like my weightlifting competitions. You know, it's a hard thing to prepare all those months and years, and then to go onto stage and you've got 3 chances to do a thing, and you're scared.
Sure.
And so, but you need to go up there with just the peace.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I did the things. And so use tapping to clear away a lot of doubts as well. And I always kind of like, you know, have clients as well that are both in fitness and some life coaching stuff. And a lot of times, you know, you can, like, that sounds very frou-frou-y, you know, kind of woo-woo. But if you, in another way, you know, you can tell people is like, you know, your amygdala is like very easy to activate. It wants to be like there all the, like, oh, be careful, I don't know, something could go wrong. And the tapping does such a wonderful job of kind of interrupting, you know, like, woo,
Yeah.
hey, we're talking about what I'm talking about now. And so it kind of gives you a little bit more control. And now that sounds a little less woo-woo-y, but
Right.
But it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
And I love the fact that your dad just said, they've been doing it for 2,000 years. I think something's right. A lot of you just have to introduce yourself. I'll tell you, my friend was working and doing energy work, and at the time she could tell because my jaw would like start to pulsate, and she's like, I see that, you don't believe me. And I'm like, it just sounds a little woo-woo, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden my mind just shifted to, why not try it? Why not give it an opportunity? And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But they've been doing it for a long, long time. So let's see. So I started introducing myself to energy work, acupuncture, so many levels of things. And I'm like,
wonderful.
Okay. I said it yesterday on the show that I think there should be a beautiful marriage between traditional medicine and holistic or homeopathic or functional medicine. I think we'd all be better off if we start opening our minds to that. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, feel free to drop a comment or ask a question. We're talking about some things that he can do. What's the best website, by the way, before we get into your books, for people if they want to work with you from the psychology standpoint?
drwhitehead.com.
drwhitehead.com. There it is on your screen, by the way. You can text to request your free consultation, 314-326-0303. So we're talking about that aspect, but how does he ever decide to come to writing these books? So first of all, I mentioned earlier, you can go to the website, BibleByJesus.com, find out more. Where's the best place for them to purchase the books?
Amazon.com.
Amazon? All right. So
Amazon.
Go to Amazon and you can purchase these. There are 5 of them.
Yes.
I was blessed with one that I have here, The Weight of the Net, being the Gospel of Mark. Now, these are fiction.
Yes.
You had book 1 you were reading, Abe. And with that one, so how did it speak to you?
A story about Matthew.
Matthew, yeah.
And I think one of my favorite things that's in that book is that he was a tax collector. He kept ledgers his whole life, and that really the ledger was always not there. It's kind of a fictional thing in our mind, right? The idea of judging someone or assessing value as a plus or a minus. There's always a debt. You know, for every credit there's a debit.
Sure.
That's not actually what's in there.
What do you want? So let's go through all of them, by the way. So book 1 is Matthew, Gift of Yahweh, narrated by the tax collector. Book 2, Mark, which I have, The Weight of the Net, narrated by Peter. Book 3 is Luke, The Physician's Eye, narrated by Luke the physician. Book 4, John in the Beginning, narrated by the disciple whom Jesus loved. And then book 5 is Jesus, I Am With You Always, narrated by Jesus himself, giving Jesus the voice, all in first person. Now, these are the Gospels retold through the lens of A Course in Miracles. Again, 5 literary fiction novels, each narrated in the first person. So this is a combination, though. We're talking about King James Gospels and A Course in Miracles, which has been around since the 70s?
70s.
But many people probably don't know about the Course in Miracles, or A Course in Miracles.
Right.
Can you tell them more about that?
Certainly. It, like you said, it was published at first in 1976, and it is a channeled work. So that means that a psychologist named Helen Schuckman and her boss in the Department of New York Psychiatric Hospital were working together, and there was so much dissent in the psychology department, they looked at each other one day and said, there just has to be a better way. And so she had been hearing voices before that, dreams and experiences. But then after that statement they made to each other, she began to hear a voice. It was very clear and definitive, and she went to her boss because they were in a psychiatric hospital. She said, I'm hearing voices. You know, for a psychologist to say, I'm hearing voices, that's a serious thing.
Sure.
Didn't know what to do about that. And her boss said, well, just write down what the voice is saying and bring it in. So she did that. For the next 7 years, she did that. And it was the voice of Jesus. And his first words was, this is A Course in Miracles. Write it down. So she did. And she wound up with a text, which is the spiritual theology behind the Course, explains what reality is, and a lot of spiritual concepts, words that you hear, the resurrection, the crucifixion, spirit, soul, et cetera, et cetera. So it explains the whole typology of what actual reality from Jesus. This is Jesus telling her, who was a confessed atheist, Jewish person, who didn't want to hear this,
Wow.
but she wrote it down, that this is the way reality really is. And so she wrote that down, so she gets the text. Then there's a workbook with 365 lessons in it, which takes a reader day by day, builds your skills of listening to your inner voice and developing a relationship with your Creator, a personal relationship with your Creator, so that you always have a guide with you. When Jesus gave the disciples the Holy Spirit, that's been that recognition is still going on. Jesus is still alive. Jesus came and talked to the disciples after the crucifixion many times. So why do we think? And he said he was going to be here always. So why don't we just believe him? Okay, he's here always. That means right now, right here, I can call and ask for his guidance. That's what the workbook leads you toward, that ability to do that, to be with that voice. And then there's a manual for teachers that is more toward guiding students to become teachers of this process. It's all about forgiveness and love.
Well, don't you, again, folks, if you're just tuning in, one of the hardest things in life is to forgive ourselves. It's also, you always hear me say the importance, I love the fact that she was asked to write and that she was the obedient servant, and
Yes.
she did in fact write. You all know that I'm a huge fan of journaling, and that's that whole thing of taking the thoughts out of here, putting them down on paper. He
Yes.
understands from a psychology standpoint there is something very scientific and real about what happens when you take it out of here, put it down on paper, then read it back and hear it out loud, transferring the senses, right? So he and I could talk
Yes,
for hours
very,
about
very
this.
good.
You as well.
Very good.
He does coaching on so many levels. And I asked Abe, I said, I'm going to focus a lot on your father, but in this conversation, I don't want you to be lost. So what part of this do you want to feel that you're connected to those books? And you talked a lot about how the upbringing, first of all, as well as his passion to want to write these, of how you use it in coaching.
Yeah, I think, a lot of the messages that, you're hearing from my dad right now are basically that there's no failure. right? Jesus is here and now, in our hearts. It's not offered to us; it's already given. I think that's the most important thing. And so when I work with my clients, it's kind of like, well, a lot of times people get in this mindset of, oh, I failed, or I gained weight, or I'm not where I want to be, and that's my fault. Well, that's not what we work on. Right. We work on from the standpoint of it's already all good. We just need to refocus ourselves and get people out of this like destination mindset. Like, I'll only be happy when I lose 10 pounds.
Right.
Or
and then they get there and they're not happy.
And then they're not happy. They realize like, oh,
there's
geez.
more. I need another 10.
or maybe like I made it to 10 and now I'm done. And I just go right back.
And back and then some.
Yeah, and so the idea here, and this is kind of what I've learned from him, is that you don't get in love with the destination. You get in love with the process, and you give yourself to it wholly and completely, and then life gets a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Well, and we talk a lot about give yourself some grace. I'd love to know, by the way, how these connect with you. Sometimes you just like to listen and absorb, and then later sometimes you write me a DM, and it's interesting because there's like shame that people don't want to put it out there. I love, though, those of you that go at it, and you write it in the comments, and you put it out there for the possibility of people to judge. So what? They're not judging. They actually need to read it to realize that we're all so very similar. We all go through the same things. Some people are just very willing to put it out there to say that they're going to be judged, or instead, I would embrace you. I would embrace you and say, I'm going to give you a huge hug to say thank you for that. We're going to take a quick break. Again, we're talking about these books. You can get them on Amazon. You can also go to his website, Bible by Jesus, the Scholar's Companion, by the way, a free resource, a catalog of every point of contact between the King James Version Gospels and then A Course in Miracles, a free download, by the way, at BibleByJesus.com. I'm going to give you I'm going to read a couple things that I have turned down from when I was reading my book, which is Mark, The Weight of the Net, narrated by Peter. But we talked a little bit about what A Course in Miracles is. We talked a little bit about Abe again, getting a chance to read Matthew, The Gift of Yahweh, the focus book. I'm going to ask you, like most times, you all know probably where I'm going with this. I have everybody that I always say, I know it's going to be like picking a favorite child, but I'm going to ask you to pick a favorite book of the 5. Okay, so think about that. Which one you feel you most connect to. But it probably changes because we change so much in life that today it might be this one. Or tomorrow it might be this one. We're going to have more with Al and Abe Whitehead when we return, so don't go anywhere.
Don't miss a hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the St. Charles Convention Center in the North Hall. Choose from over 25 American-made units on display. See hot tubs, swim spas, and cold tubs all ready for immediate delivery. Save up to 50% on MSRP. Financing is available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE. That's 1-800-SPA-SALE.
Yeah, if you've been thinking about it, I'm going to tell you right now, pull the trigger. I'm counting the days until that hot tub is delivered in our backyard. And every day I can sit in the evening and relax, center myself, think about that triangle of life theory I have of pulling together mental, spiritual, physical. So if my body is aching from the car accident a handful of years ago, I get to relax in our hot tub. There's a big hot tub and swim spa blowout sale that you can get a chance to go to. Again, it's going to be in St. Charles this weekend. So if you've been thinking about it and you haven't had a chance to go into their showroom, which is Spas and More in Sunset Hills, then go to Convention Center Plaza in St. Charles, June 12th through the 14th. So it's Friday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 5. They have 30-plus models on display for immediate delivery. Spas and More, by the way, thank you so much for being a part of our show. And if you want to go into the showroom in case you miss it this weekend, they're located again in Sunset Hills, Spas and More, STL.com. gmail.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. This is a Testament Tuesday, and I love the fact that we can bring faith into the show. So many different levels, and we bring everybody to the table, and we get a chance to listen. If you are just tuned in, we're talking with Alwyn, or Al Whitehead, and Abram Whitehead, or Coach Abe, or Abe, however we want to talk. We are all friends now, so Abe and Al, you can call them by Abe and Al as well. We're talking about the books that Al has written. Again, we have 5 books. It is Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and then Jesus himself, the gospel voices, the gospels retold through the lens of A Course in Miracles. Do you have a favorite?
I do, actually, and it's a 6th book that I've
it's the one that I haven't talked about yet.
Written. It's got published this last week on Kindle, and it's Paul.
Oh.
Because I love the book on Jesus because it gives Jesus a voice to tell the disciples exactly what he meant rather than how they interpret it. So there's no doubt about what he meant, because some of the parables leave doubts in your mind. Exactly what was he saying? What was the point, etc. So that Jesus was really expressing himself and telling him what he actually meant. And this is material that comes from Jesus talking to us in this century, in 1976, through Helen, who scribed the book, who wrote the book. So it's really Jesus telling us directly what he meant by his ministry. But the reason I said Paul, the book that I just finished, is because Paul is responsible for most of the theology of Christianity today. Jesus' message was very simple and direct, and a lot of it, some of it was misunderstood, slightly off mark, etc. So the book of Jesus explains, elucidates, expands understanding of his message the way the people of that time were able to understand it. That's why he talked a lot in parables, because a lot of people then did not read. They didn't read. The Old Testament was not widely read by people in Israel at that time because they were illiterate. So they talked in stories for people to understand. So the book on Jesus is a way for Jesus to refine that message. The book on Paul is Paul's has a conversation with Jesus at the end. The book goes through Paul's ministry, the thousands of miles he traveled, the many, many, many churches that he founded and wrote letters to. And then at the end of the book, he has a conversation with Jesus because he feels like, well, you're telling me that I didn't do everything right, that I didn't get it all right, that I misled people. And Jesus tells him basically, nothing is ever wasted. Your work did all the work it could do at the time you were there. It is very valuable. It lasted for 2,000 years. And now I've come back and I've written another gospel through the Course in Miracles, a way of getting close to me, that I'm back again. So it's not, the crucifixion was not what it was important. That did not pay for sins. That was a demonstration that life goes on, that there's only life after life, that there is no death. That's what I said. I've overcome death. That's what I meant. And so I came back, and I'm talking again, and I'm talking to you, and I'm explaining to Paul what he could have improved on, where the message was a little different than what he preached. But again, nothing is wasted, and your effort is revered. But this is what I actually meant, and it will come again.
So, the judgment that we have on ourselves is felt throughout, I'm sure, probably all of your books. I also think it's interesting that when we talk about someone who is a healer or someone who's in the coaching aspect of all the things that we do, I was reading some of the notes that you had provided for me and then digging a little bit into A Course in Miracles. And it's fascinating to me, and I so agree with this comment, that the therapist becomes the patient and the patient becomes the therapist.
Yes.
Do we all not all feel that?
Yes.
And we are getting therapy through them. I just started a challenge with my clients, and then a new lady that just joined us. We were all together last night, and it was just fascinating to me. I said, we've been 7 days into a 90-day challenge, and I'd love to hear what you got out of this. And in all the years that I've been training, I think this one hits different. And it's because I pulled them all together as a community. Every day they get a text from me. They don't know when it's coming. I said, don't assume it's going to be 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock, and don't write me and say, can I get it by 9? You're going to get it when God says you're supposed to have it, and he's going to speak through me, and I'm going to give it to you. And sometimes it might be 5, 6 o'clock in the evening where I think you're getting ready to go to the pantry and eat horrible, and I'm going to be, read your text, and it's coming in for you, right, to help guide you. They all said that it felt like that they all had each other's back, right? And I said, you don't feel jealous, right, while you're working and you're seeing these other people who maybe they're a teacher and they're off for the summer and they already got their workout done, but you're at work and you're sitting there going, look at them, right? We're judging. But it's crazy. But for me, what did I get from fulfillment on so many levels of this fuels my soul. And so we get that therapy back. And so while you all might not understand that, we are in the healing role that we're all serving.
Right.
We're getting it right back. And I think it's fascinating. And anybody that says that that's not, that it's all about you helping them, you're so missing the point of why you were led into that role, right?
There's a supplement in the Course in Miracles material called Psychotherapy Process Practice. And in that, this is Jesus again talking and dictating these books. There is only one psychotherapist, the Holy Spirit, and that we are all teacher and student, just going back and forth because we are all one. So when I'm talking to you, I'm really talking to me also. And if I'm really smart, I'm listening to what I'm saying because this thing that's coming through me is for me also. And so you are helping me discover what I have to give.
Now the ego tries to take over and say, that's a whole nother show that we can do. I promised to read a couple things that stood out to me. So again, the Gospel Voices, this is book 2 that Abe gave me, and I was able to read through the weight of the net being the Gospel of Mark. Well, one of the things that I loved was this. My name was Simon. Now, this is what a lot of people were like, is he Simon or is he Peter? They're so confused by this. He called me Peter, which means rock, and named me for what he saw in me before I had found it in myself. I have chills right now. It's crazy when someone sees more in you and believes more in you than you believe in yourself. And we have to lean in on that. So many times I'll ask clients, stand in front of the mirror and please say 10 nice things to yourself. Self-love instead of tearing yourself down, which is so easy to do in our world, right? Do you all agree with that? Do you do it? And if so, it's okay. We're not judging you. And he walked ahead of us on the road to Capernaum, not looking back, and I followed with wet hands, and the smell of the lake on me, and the net lay on the shore behind us, and the morning was ordinary, and nothing about it has ever been ordinary since. Woo! So unbelievably powerful. But so to me, and you all tell me what you get from that passage, but to me, again, somebody calling us something else because we don't identify with that particular person. So he called us something else. He gives us another name. For him, it was the rock. He didn't see himself as that.
No.
Right? Well,
no.
Because we can't imagine we are what someone else sees us as.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we don't see ourselves as a holy son of God. We see ourselves as I'm Al, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm struggling with this and this and the other. And oh, look, here's a world-class weightlifter right here. I should be doing some exercise, but I'm not. I'm stuck in my basement writing a book. And here's Monica. She's a world-famous newscaster and helper to so many people, and she glows all the time, and I can't do that.
It's crazy that we can't stay in our own lane and just and believe in ourselves, right? I'm hoping that today on this show you see yourself in Yeah, that is me. That is me judging myself. That is me believing that I'm not enough. So that was one, and again, I got chills when I first read it, and I got chills again. This one, and it's coming off from Caesar, but it says, I want to say one more thing before I leave it, because it has taken me 30 years to understand. 30 years. Think about 3 decades to comprehend what happened, and I do not want to rush past it. The confession was real. The recognition was genuine. What broke through me in that silence was not wishful thinking, or the pressure of the moment, or the desire to say something impressive. It was true. It remains the truest thing I have ever said, and it lasted 10 seconds. This is not a failure. This is not the story of a man who almost understood something and then lost it. It's the story of how the truth becomes available to an ordinary human mind, briefly in moments of openness, that rawness, through a faculty that is not the ordinary mind, and then the ordinary mind reasserts itself with its fears and its calculations and its insistence on being the one who decides what is real. Mm-hmm. Again, there's so many lessons in what to learn from everything. And as I said, I'm very big on, if you haven't read in a while, to pick up a book. And I always ask, it's a book that serves you, that opens up your mind, opens up your soul, that helps you to think a different way. And that's where I want to go into this next part. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to go deeper into a comment from a review from someone who more would follow Buddhism.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Which I think is extremely powerful, because when we come to the table, we meet someone and we're like, oh my gosh, Abe is such a nice man. I know nothing about his background, of his beliefs. Do I accept him at the table and then find out, you mentioned earlier, someone saying that they're atheist, someone saying that they're Catholic, someone saying that they're Lutheran, Baptist. I've always had the belief that we should have an open mind to everyone. Mm-hmm. And how did it ever come about that that's what attached to them? Right. It's the closed-mindedness that has, I believe, created, and again, this is my beliefs, it is my show, it's my belief, but I don't ever push faith on anyone. I just think the things that have gone so wrong in our world is because of closed-mindedness. Mm-hmm. So an interesting comment, by the way. We're going to let Al talk a little bit about that. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop them in. It's a Testament Tuesday brought to you by our friends at Fenton Family Dentistry. We'll have more with Abe and Al when we return.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition swim spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. It's always in between the breaks that I think the most fun happens. Maybe we start a subscriber channel, which we've talked about, and then you get privy to what happens in between the breaks. If you are just tuning in, we're talking about these books. And again, you can get them on Amazon. There's evidently a 6th book, and we'll see how many more will be coming. You can go also to BibleByJesus.com or go on Amazon and get the Gospel Voices, the Gospels retold through the lens of A Course in Miracles. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Jesus. And then again, he's got a 6th book. How many books are you going to come out with?
I'm fooling around with another one, but I promised my wife I wouldn't write anymore for a while.
Because it's time consuming, right?
It is time consuming.
How long did it take for you to... What is her name? What is your mom's name?
Marlene.
Marlene. Yeah. So thank you, Marlene. Yes, we'll tell him to give himself a little bit of a break before he comes back to the table. So how long did it take you to write these?
Oh, I've been working on it for years and years and years, but the last 2 years I've been focusing more work on it, and the last year has been just seems like 24/7. So a while. It's been an idea as a kernel in my head for 20, 30 years. I've always wanted to see these two distinct voices of Christianity, to see the similarities and where they build upon one another. Mm-hmm. And so this is a tool for that.
Well, and I was going to ask that. Well, first of all, so when we look at our upbringing, I was brought up in a Catholic upbringing and love my foundation. I have gone back to church with my mom, and I feel that connection to my youth, right? And I was watching Mass with my mom just this past weekend, and she looked over and smiled. I was singing the songs with her, and that's what she loves, right? Because for her, it was what she knew, how she was raised, and that's how it is. And then all of a sudden, you attach yourself, and this is what I was hoping you all understood as I went to the break, to whatever feeds your soul. So for me, I have always asked each and every one of you, invite me to wherever you go. And so someone invited me to go to the Crossing. Right here, I go to the one in Fenton or in Chesterfield. It really connected with me. But I'm also have friends who are in a Lutheran church, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I just love the teachings that are there. But I have an open mind. You have a review from someone who felt it was more connected to them, and they're more from a Buddhist standpoint.
Right.
Was that pretty eye-opening for you?
It was eye-opening, and I really appreciate that review. But it wasn't surprising that a person who is a Buddhist, a devout Buddhist, would see value in these books, because these books are not so much about orthodoxy, but about truth and truthful principles and ways of thinking and being and treating other human beings and how you see other human beings. So it doesn't matter what institution wraps itself around a truth, there's still truth in that institution. And whatever, like somebody said, there are many paths to the top of a mountain. It doesn't matter which path you take as long as you get to the mountain. And we're all focused on, many of us are focused on getting to the top of the spiritual mountain, which is really just a realization that you're already there if you get rid of all the blocks, the judgment,
there's the debris again.
Yeah, the debris, yes.
You're very... It's so absolutely accurate, even if we do the actual physical side of climbing a mountain. For me, I want so badly to climb Machu Picchu.
Ooh.
I've heard it's one of the most spiritual awakenings, and that people just lose it. First of all, from the physical side of it all, but then to stand atop of that and then just understand the magnitude of it all. I wanted that 5 years ago, but it was during the pandemic and it was closed down. I've also been told that I need to do it probably soon because it's eroding. So, but it's the physical side of that, and you mentioned it earlier, Abe, that we can get to a point where we're like, is it enough? I want that. But then, is it going to be enough? No, then it's going to be, what bigger thing can I do? What's the next competition that I can do? Yeah. Is it ever enough?
It's never enough in the mind's eye, but it's always enough in our heart and the gift that's been given to us. It's already given.
Should be.
It's already given. I think that's the crazy part. I was thinking of reflecting a little bit about how do you explain these books to somebody the other day, and I was like, you remember that scene in Star Wars where because there's a lot of imagery that they use that's powerful, and Obi-Wan's fighting Darth Vader, and he puts his sword down, his lightsaber down, and Darth Vader cuts him down, and the robes just go whoosh. But then he comes back later as an image, and I think he realized that oh, you thought I was strong in this?
Right.
Wait till I get rid of this baby. You're really gonna see it, And I was
just you watch.
Yeah. And I'm like, really, it's one of the things these books kind of help you pull away from the guilt and shame of sin and start to realize that that's this stuff, the brain, the stories. And once you kind of let that fall away, you start realizing that God's grace and Jesus it's already here.
Absolutely. The powers are, they're magnified. The interesting thing about that comment is the labels that we put on ourselves, the identity. Yeah. I see a lot, and I don't at all want to say that it's more of a man thing than a woman thing, but for a lot of men, and I think about this as my hero. So my husband's a lieutenant with the county police. Oh. He's going to be retiring finally in about 9 months.
Congratulations.
But everybody has always said, thank you. Everybody has always said, It'll be interesting when he no longer puts that uniform on, when he no longer puts that vest on. Will he be okay? And I said, I hope so. But he has a strong woman next to him to make sure he's okay. One of the greatest things that we can do is to get people to talk. We can't force it out of them, but make sure that they know someone cares, that we're there for them. You understand that in the business, both realms of what you do. I think all too often people that are struggling, and we try to say, well, talk to me, and they're not ready. But at least there's a physical presence, a spiritual presence in the room to know that it's okay to not be okay. One of the biggest things that we've talked about in the last 6 years during the pandemic was, I'm not okay. Oh, I'm not okay either. Oh my gosh, we're talking about this, right? That's really all we really needed to do. I think and again, I didn't get a chance to read all of them, but in the one that I did, what I pull from it is to walk away from the belief that we're not enough.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, and this whole way this thread is going. I mentioned that we're all spiritual seekers trying to get to the enlightenment point. And the Course points out that that's not some geographical location. Heaven's not a time or a place. And when Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is at hand, he meant it's right here. It's right here in this present moment. And the Course speaks of something called a holy instant. And that's when you've had this, when you connected fully with someone, and all of a sudden you don't know how it happened, but the rest of the world just kind of disappeared. Maybe you weren't aware of it at the time, but you were so focused and in tune with this other person that nothing else existed. You were communicating directly with that person, like mind to mind. The body didn't exist anymore. You were just really in tune. And you were in tune with that person. You were at one with that person. And the Course talks about a holy relationship where it's not based on bodies, it's based on that spiritual connection that we all have. We just need to recognize that it's with us, between every one of us, and to look for that, to honor that. And I've felt that with you. You're very magnetic, and you put off a lot of energy, and you're very easy to talk and connect with. I thank you for that.
Well, again, and it's interesting as we talk about miracles, this is something that a lot of you that follow me know, but for me, I turned my entire life over to God to guide me. After he saved me, I think I've told you, when I was 19, I had the largest blood clot in medical history.
Wow.
Why am I here? To do his work.
Yes.
That's what I always believe. And I'm like, every day I wake up, I pick a new word of the day. I focus on my triangle of life of, again, mental, physical, spiritual, balancing. And then I say, what do you want me to do today? How do you want me to deliver your message? I'm here for you. Until I no longer have breath in my lungs, let me serve. And, and I'm not saying that my way is the right way. It's just coming together as a whole, as a community, to understand, to try to get ourselves away from toxicity. It exists out there, right? There's going to be that pull of evil, and there's going to be the pull of good. I prefer to go to the pull of good than the evil. Again, I want to give you the books. We could go on for hours. I would love to have you back. You're more than welcome to come on the show. For people that are saying, is this book or these books for me? Who are these targeted to? What's your answer to that?
Anybody who's a spiritual seeker, any Christian, any Course in Miracles student, anybody who is dissatisfied somewhat with where they are spiritually, or with the religion they're in, or with religion in general, these books will help reorient you to the truth of Jesus' message. And that message is the way, he called it. They were called followers of the way, not Christians in early times. And so the way is the way we open ourselves up to the presence of God within us and others.
How proud are you of your dad?
Super proud. Yeah, super proud. I always kind of laugh. I'm like, I didn't even know he was writing books. And then one day he was like, I'm writing books. I'm like, okay, that sounds on brand for my dad. And then about 2 weeks later, he's like, they're published. And I'm like, that's very on brand for my dad. But, yeah, I'm super proud of him.
Can you do me a favor? Can you make me finish my book? You and I are going to talk.
Sure, absolutely.
Everyone's like, would you just get your book out there?
Absolutely.
It's half done. It's halfway
Awesome.
done. His books, by the way, you can get on Amazon. Again, you can also go to BibleByJesus.com and Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Jesus, and more to come. I want you to follow along. You can also work directly with him if you want to reach out. Give them your website again.
drwhitehead.com.
There you go, folks. It's on your screen. Again, 40 years of clinical practice. Also an ordained minister, specializing in all types of anxiety, depression, trauma, grief, and adjustment issues. The books, The Gospel Voices, The Gospels Retold Through the Lens of A Course in Miracles. Do me a favor and share this show with your friends and family. And again, if you watch a little bit later, do a little hashtag replay and ask us questions or tell me what connected with you. Many times you have to take shows like this and then hear them again. Probably take the books, read them again of how they're serving you, where you are at this very given moment. And then you pick them up again and it's like, oh, I don't remember reading that this time. So at the end of the show, Abe knows this, I always ask everybody to pick one of our 100 days, either 100 days to freedom or 100 days of healing. So he's done it before. I want to let you pick. So do you feel that you and the world needs to hear 100 days to freedom from depression, anger, shame, overeating, or 100 days of healing?
Healing.
Healing it is. Let's see what God has brought to the table today, because it's been very interesting when Abe and Dr. Jessica have picked it, that we both were like, what is happening in this room? Okay, 100 days of healing when we return.
You could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready. Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition swim spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Don't miss the hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center. Over 25 American-made units on display. Immediate delivery and financing available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
What a powerful show. And again, I hope you do share this with your friends and family so they can receive the message. I love that word, receive the message, exactly where we are. So Alwyn, or Al Whitehead, he chose 100 Days of Healing. These books, by the way, are from Stephen Arterburn. God's Word Gives Healing. Day 27 of 100 Days. My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. This is Proverbs 4, verses 20 through 22. So Solomon, the probable author of today's scripture, said that his words do not just bring life and healing, but that they are life and healing to all who find them. Because Jesus is the word of God, John 1:1, when we who have accepted Christ meditate on it, memorize, study, and repeat Bible passages, we are infused with his life. Instead of letting us believe the lies that Satan has spouted at us, though other people, media, culture in general, such as, you're not good enough. God couldn't forget what you've done. God actually uses the power inherent in his word to retrain our brains. We begin to reject the darkness of the devil's falsehoods and we replace them with the light of God's truth. You and I are beloved children of God, perfect and forgiven in his sight through the power of the resurrected Lord. Choose to make God's word a priority As you open the scriptures, ask the Holy Spirit to reveal new truths. And then as you go about your day, be attentive to ways he wants to infuse you with his life. Test what you're told or think about yourself against the light of the word. If it's a lie, immediately replace it with a Bible verse. In this way, we partner with the Trinity to tear down strongholds like perfectionism, addiction, fear, and our gracious Father begins to heal those thoughts and hearts. What an amazing gift that is. D.L. Moody said the Bible was not given for our information, but for our transformation. Oh, I like that one. Here's prayer for today. Mighty God, thank you for the power of your word to transform me. I can't get over it. I pray I never will. Oh, I like that. Amen to that.
Amen
Healing.
to that. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Woo. Love it.
I can't wait to give. I'm going to give you a hug, so get ready for it.
Okay.
Folks, I want you to come to our live shows on location, and I'm super excited for the one that's coming in July. I'm going to get lost in this place. The Porch. Have you been? It's the Porch in Wildwood. This woman, Jan Kaufman, is an incredible interior designer, and you see it and you feel it when you walk through those doors. In fact, you know I do design and wardrobe consulting for men's fashion, so I was in love when I went to the back of the room and sat down with all of that. That's where the custom side just really comes to life. But if you are looking for a whole transformation in your home, I would say to let Jan be the person that transforms for you. Again, it's called The Porch. It's in Wildwood, and I had never walked in the doors. Now I can't wait to walk in again and again and again. We love to tell the backstories before we ever get a chance to go on location. ThePorchWildwood.com, by the way, is the website you can go to. We're going to find out the backstory of Jan Kaufman on Tuesday, June 30th. She'll also be in with one of her designers, Nicole Little. So that's the backstory before we ever go in July to the Porch in person. So I hope you can join us in July. You can go to my website, therealmonicaadams.com. We'll always, under the event section or the calendar of events, you can know where our next ones are. We're actually going to be doing a business spotlight on a place in Washington, Missouri also. So a lot of really cool things to come. Coconut Grove, if you want that resort feel, and who doesn't? You want to feel like you're constantly on vacation? I would go to Coconut Grove. I cannot wait to go there. They've been around just within this last year. It was the calling of Monica Spittler. She never knew she was going to open a boutique, but God did. Yes, you are going to do this. I can't wait to tell her story and show you the beautiful clothes that she has, by the way. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You are such a pleasure, sir. Thank you, as you said he would be. This is, again, Al and Abe Whitehead. Please give a hug to Dr. Jessica for me.
We will do.
Cannot wait to see her again. Fenton Family Dentistry. So you want to change dentist? You need a new dentist? And that is the woman, by the way, that told me she needed a dentist. So I sent you her information. Fenton Family Dentistry, again, located on Old Smizer Mill Road. Check them out at Fenton Family Dentistry on social media or on their website. You will fall in love, as we have, with Dr. Jessica. And don't you just love her as a daughter-in-law?
She's the best. She is really the best.
She truly is, from a medical standpoint and then overall just as a human being. You will fall in love with the family, as we have. All right, tomorrow Trisha Rhodes joins us, by the way, from Exist Stretch. I'll show you more of me getting stretched by Tim and Jim getting stretched by Trisha and how it truly changed his life. And this is this big 6'3" macho muscular man that swore, it's not going to affect me. Ha! He's now a believer, and it really, really changed. It is life-changing, folks. We'll talk more about that with Trisha Rhodes tomorrow. Again, thank you to our guests. Thank you to each and every one of you. And remember, believe in yourself. He does, and now you have to believe in you. You can truly be anything you want to be in life, but the greatest be is kind. Be kind, and God bless.
The Real Monica